The Skylight Project is another little added addendum to the Off in the Water projects. And they are simple, plastic, waffly panels that you can buy at a box store. Down there, they buy them at whatever they call a box store down there. And all you do is measure in the roof, if the roof is safe enough to go on, by the way, because we found out not all of the roofs were safe enough to go on. And you measure out, you take out part of their tin roof, you place the plastic panel in the place of that part you take out, and you seal it down. And amazingly, it opens up light in the house that little one window in the kitchen can't possibly do. And one little lady, it was shared with me, I wasn't there on that day, but one day it was shared with me that a little lady in the house, when asked, do you have an idea where you'd like the skylight? She pointed at a specific spot in the roof. And they determined they could put it there. And I don't think they were clear then why she asked for that spot. After they were done, when they walked in to see how the skylight looked, they looked down, and below the skylight was her sewing machine. She had one of the old kind that my grandmother had. You know, you had to pump the foot. And she said, I have not, now that my eyes are getting older, and there's not enough light in my house, I have not been able to sew. They make their clothes, they make their children's and grandchildren's clothes, whatever needs to be mended, they do it. Whether they're doing it by hand or by machine, she didn't have enough light. And when they dropped one inexpensive skylight into her home over her sewing machine, her face lit up, and she said, now I'll be able to sew again.
Well, he came earlier in the day, this gentleman came to us, and he happened to need a prescription of like 2.75. And we got his glasses all adjusted, and he left. And later on he came back, and one of the interpreters came with him and said, this gentleman you had earlier, do you by chance have his prescription? And I said, yes, we can find it. He said, well, he went home and he showed his mom his glasses that he had gotten. And she put them on, and she was able to read her Bible. So he came back, and he had this money clutched in his hand. And the interpreter said he wonders if he pays another registration fee, could he get a pair of glasses in the same prescription for his mom? Because she's in a wheelchair and she cannot come. I said, sure. So we went and found a pair of blue-rimmed glasses that would look good on a woman. And I said, here you go. And we had a little case for him to put him in, and he had tears in his eyes, and he hugged me and he said, thank you very much. He said, God bless you and your family for letting you come to help us. It brings tears to my eyes when I think about that. It was so little, and we did so much for him.
For people that need a tooth extracted and don't have that availability, they live with daily pain. They're in a lot of pain. When a tooth that's rapidly decayed is still in the mouth, it can actually cause an abscess in the tooth. And the abscess, if that's untreated, can actually cause infection in their body and into their brain. There are known cases, and usually in third world countries, where people die because of an untreated tooth.
We mainly focused on kids at this venue that we were at, and I know in the village from talking to some of the senior people there that people were dying from tooth decay. So it was pretty serious. You know, we knew what we had in front of us was something that needed to be done. So one of the children later in the day had a permanent tooth, which is a little more difficult to take out sometimes. And you know, we had numbed it. It was very routine. We thought things were going to go normally, and I wrestled with that tooth. I just couldn't get it out. We were working on it. The kid was trying to do her best, and you know, she started to cry, and I didn't quite know what to do. You know, and I knew I couldn't turn back. The tooth was a certain amount loose, but there was something holding it in, and I don't know what it was. And I was tired. I was sweating. I was exhausted, really. So one of the assistants that I was working with suggested that we pray about it, that we have someone come and pray with us. And I believe in that, but I don't know if I believed in it to this stage when this happened. So the main pastor of the church came, and he came and not just did he pray, but he put his hands on me, and I can honestly say I felt something go through me. It was pretty amazing. I'll never forget it. And like within minutes, the tooth popped out. It just popped right out in my hand. Yeah. So I mean, you gotta believe. You can't not believe something like that. It's just incredible. And those kind of experiences, we go on mission trips to help, but we get our soul gets helped as much, if not more.
People frequently get scared of lepers. I mean, what's your knowledge of lepers? Probably very little, really. But here we went out and we served in leper colonies. We gave glasses, we fit glasses. We also shared the Bible, we shared the gospel. People there were just so thankful. If we talk about people that didn't have anything, these lepers have nothing. All they generally had was the rest of their family. I remember one woman attempting to show us a picture of her husband who had died a month ago. And looking at her trunk, small trunk that she had with all of her worldly possessions, including her clothes. I'm talking a trunk that was maybe 30 inches by 18 by 12. Everything she owned was in that trunk. And then when she took and found this picture of her husband, I always remember her taking that picture and holding it right up to her face like this to determine that was her husband. She just had very, very, very poor eyesight. She needed glasses desperately, but the joy in her heart was phenomenal.